Good day to all of you. I am Sivaram, former senior executive with 47 years of experience from Sashasai Paper and Boards Limited, Erode. I am very glad once again to share my knowledge on TPM with all of you. In our last episode, we have already seen videos on TPM part 1 to part 4. In continuation to that, we will be discussing about TPM part 5 in this video. I have simplified TPM to suit our present Indian culture, work culture, and this free video can be used as learning and as well as teaching material. In this video, we will be discussing about TPM step 2 and step 3. In step 2, we will be discussing about two main TPM subjects, that is how to eliminate sources of contamination in your work area and how to identify and rectify the inaccessible places in your ownership equipment area. And in step 3, we will discuss about how to establish tentative standards for cleaning, inspection, lubrication and tightening activities, and the CILT methodology, how to prepare and check the check sheet for the equipment. In step 2, we must make sure that all the abnormalities identified in step 1 have been eliminated. Then only we need to move forward to identify the main sources of contamination and inaccessible places. Document them. Now let us focus on the first point. Eliminate abnormality identified in step 1. During step 1, operators use their hands and physical sensors to perform initial cleaning with meaning and detecting abnormalities. During step 2, they use their brains to devise effective improvements to solve the abnormalities identified. To eliminate the abnormality, first the operators should do RCA, that is root cause analysis, to find the real root cause for the problems and then take necessary corrective actions, that is kaizens, to ensure they do not occur again. Without finding out the root causes, you cannot have a permanent solution to the problems, and as a result, problems will occur again and again. Ensure that you remove all abnormalities identified in step 1, which have been recorded in the abnormality register kept in the department. This will help in avoiding forced deterioration of the equipment and also help us in achieving zero ABCD, that is zero accident, zero breakdown, zero customer complaint and zero defects. Now next very important point is to identify and eliminate sources of contamination. Even after daily cleaning, if you find dust and contaminants still present on the raw material, equipment or product, then you have to find out the sources of these contaminations from where they are originating and take necessary corrective actions to arrest them at source and eliminate them permanently. Suppose the dust and or other contaminants are not cleaned regularly on the emissions. Over a period of time, the contaminants will stick to the machine and form a thick layer on them. As a result, these may corrode the equipment, and if a crack develops in the machine for some reasons, this layer will hide the crack and it will not be easily visible. Ultimately, if this goes unnoticed, it may damage the equipment. That is why eliminating the source of contamination is very given more importance in TPM. Let's see some examples of contaminations. Topmost common contaminants are dust, leaks, spills of lubricants, powders, water dripping, vapor condensate falling, and other in-process materials falling on the raw material, machine or product, which may corrode the machine or cause quality defects in the product. Next important point is to identify and eliminate the inaccessible places. That is improving accessibility of parts of the machine that are hard to clean, inspect, lubricate and tighten the loose nuts and bolts. If there is no free access, that is some obstructions preventing the operator to move around the equipment for doing CILT, then these obstructions should be first removed. For examples of inaccessible places, old pipelines protruding from the wall or floor, hot steam lines close to the equipments are not properly insulated and are obstructing the operator to move freely. Loose and hanging electrical cables, uneven flow with potholes or slippery floors, damaged platforms, corroded handrails, corroded ceiling, that is concrete pieces may fall due to poor or no lightings. All such abnormalities should be first corrected for easy and safe access for doing CILT in all the sites of the equipment. Otherwise, these areas will be considered as unsafe places and will become a no man's land. No operator will venture into these unsafe places, and as a result, the abnormalities in these places of the machine cannot be identified and will go unnoticed. Over a period of time, these unidentified abnormalities may cause major breakdowns of the equipment and result in production loss. TPM says that before understanding and completing step 2 fully, do not move to step 3. Conduct an audit for compliance of step 2 before moving forward. Now we have come to TPM step 3, that is how to establish tentative standards for cleaning and inspection for implementing CILT activities. The goal of step 3 is to ensure maintenance of basic condition, that is CILT cleaning, inspection, lubrication and tightening, and keep equipment always in peak condition. To achieve this, team members must first standardize CILT procedures and take responsibility for maintaining their own equipment. Prepare tentative standards, daily CILT check sheet that can be understood fully and followed easily. Prepare CILT check sheet with the help of the shift in charge or area manager for checking your ownership equipment. Prepare time schedule for doing CILT activities and adhere to it strictly. We must also standardize what are the tools to be used for doing CILT activities safely. That is, appropriate tools for cleaning, tools for lubrication, tools for checking the tightness or loose nuts and bolts. Keep the tools with proper identification at designated places for easy approach and retrieval. Write down the separately time taken for doing screening, inspection, lubrication and retightening activities. We need to reduce the time for each CILT activity. For this, we must do RCA and take corrective actions to reduce the time. Also provide visual controls wherever possible for monitoring and controlling the process and production. Example, mark operating regions in the pressure gauges, vacuum gauges and dial thermometers. Normal and overall load markings in the emitters. Again, CILT, we already know what we must do during cleaning. Next, let's see what we need to do during inspection. A detailed inspection list with the practical example is given how to inspect a typical equipment. Topmost is first check for safety points, whether equipment safety guards is intact with the rotating equipment. Next, check whether the handrails, steps, platform are in good and safe condition, whether the steam pipes are fully insulated. Check for loose electrical cable joints or exposed open cable joints without proper or damaged insulation. Damaged electrical plug points, damaged ceiling, whether floor is slippery due to water, oil, chemical leakages or spillages. Next is the motor. What we must inspect? We must inspect the following. Check whether the motor earthing cables, that is 2 numbers on the at the bed bolts, are intact and not detached to ensure safety. Check for abnormal sound emanating from the motor or cable terminal box or starter. Check whether the terminal box is properly insulated to avoid contamination entry. Check for abnormal heat from the motor or starter. Check for abnormal vibration or sound from the motor. Check the tightness of bed bolts and ensure the black line marked on the yellow background is in straight line on the nut, bolt and base of the equipment. Check for the motor cooling fan and its cover are intact. In the gearbox, what we need to inspect? We need to inspect the following. Check whether there is unusual sound or vibration from the gearbox. Check whether lubrication oil level is correct using the dip rod. Check whether there is oil leakage from oil reservoir side glass. Check whether the tire coupling element is intact and its safety guard is properly bolted and fixed in place. Check the tightness of bed bolts. Check whether the black paint marked on the bolt, nut and base plate are in line. Now let's see what we need to inspect in the main equipment. Check for any cracks on the body of the equipment for cleaning. If dust and foreign material fall fall on the equipment daily, find out the sources of contamination and take necessary corrective action to arrest the contamination at source and ensure permanent solution. Check for abnormal heat from the equipment due to damaged bearings or internal power, may be caused by poor or no lubrication. Check for abnormal sound from inside the equipment due to loose internal or damaged parts. Check for abnormal vibration from the equipment due to loose nuts and bolts. Check for the tightness of bolts. Check the black paint marked on the bolt, nut and base plates are in line. What to inspect in the dry belts? Check whether all the belts are provided. Check for the missing belt. Check for any abnormality in the dry pulleys. Check whether the belts are twisted, damaged, loose or wobbling. Check whether the safety guards for the belts are in position and bolted properly. What to inspect in the vacuum and pressure gauges? Check whether the operating range is marked in the green color in the vacuum and pressure gauge, whether readings are legible to read. Check whether the vacuum and pressure gauge readings are within the operating range. Any deviation in the operating range means there is something wrong. Check and rectify the abnormality. Check for any leakages in the instrument tappings. Check whether these gauges are properly fixed and are in working condition. Ensure free access to them and the glass covers are not broken. Emitters. Check whether there is marking in the emitter for normal load, that is in green color, and overload, that is in red color. Check whether the electrical load is within the permissible limit. If there is any deviation, check for abnormality and take necessary corrective action. Next, in CILT, we come to lubrication. First, prepare a lubrication chart and write down the name of the equipment, the number of lubricant points, and the location names where they are located. Then mention the type of lubrication and quantity to be used, the tool to be used for lubrication, the time it takes for lubrication, the interval schedule fixed for lubrication, who is responsible for all these activities. The mechanical maintenance personnel to help the operator in preparing this lubrication schedule. In the CILT, the most important point is tightening. Here, visual management will help the operator. First, the operator should know how many points are there for checking the tightness of nuts and bolts in his ownership equipment. With the help of mechanical maintenance personnel, after ensuring the correct tightness, he must mark with the yellow color strip on the bolt, nut and base of the equipment. Let it dry and then draw a thick black line on the bolt, nut and base of the equipment to ensure it is in straight line. Ensure this is clearly visible from a distance. This should be done so that the operator need not feel with his hands to check the tightness of nuts and bolts every time. By providing visual management using eyes, he can check the tightness from a distance. Moreover, he must ensure both the nut, bolt and base plate, yellow color and black line point is always kept clean. If dust and dirt are not cleaned regularly, they will form a layer of the black and yellow markings, and these may misguide the operator, which will lead to machine breakdown. These are some visual management examples for the operator. Picture A, that is the pressure gauge. Assume operating range is between 25 to 30 psi, marked with green lines. Any reading less or more than the marked range is an abnormality. Analyze for the root cause and rectify the abnormality. That is A. Next, in picture B. Assume normal operating range is between 22 to 25 inches of mercury. Then mark in green line. Any deviation, high or low, is considered as normal. Abnormality to be checked and corrected. Now we come to C. Picture C is emitter. In the emitter, normal load is around 20 amps marked in green line and 25 amps is the overload which is marked in red. If there is any deviation, analyze for root cause and rectify. Operators to use these visual management facilities provided at his workplace. These will help in identifying abnormalities and controlling the process and production. Next, let's move to CILT methodology. This picture highlights the teamwork and cooperation for all the process maintenance and administration personnel are very essential for success of the TPM implementation in the company. Also, implementing CLT activities are very essential in TPM for maintaining ideal conditions in the machines. This table gives us some guidance how each CLT activity is to be done, what tools to be used. We have already seen what we need to do individually in CLT in the previous slides. This is only to recap what we have learned. So I will skip this slide. Why CLT methodology is effective for TPM implementation? As per JIPM, Japan Institute of Plant Maintenance, after doing a survey of major breakdowns in large industry in some developed countries, it was found that about 60% of the machine breakdowns are caused by poor, wrong, or no lubrication, also by loose tightening of nuts and bolts. These are the main contributors for failures of machines. Hence, they recommend the lubrication tightening points are also to be included in the normal check sheet for inspecting the equipment. Thus, the normal check sheet was modified into CILT check sheet. After following CILT check sheet, sincerely, to observe that it has helped in containing the 6 main industry losses, that is, accidents, breakdowns, customer complaints, defects, pollution, and waste. This is a sample of CILT check sheet prepared to inspect and check for the abnormalities in your ownership equipment while doing CILT. This is a monthly sheet. In the top row, write down the month and area. Your department name of the ownership equipment. If you are allotted more than one equipment, use separate check sheet for each equipment. Next, write down the owner's name and name of the area manager who has helped you to prepare this check sheet. Once in a week, the area manager along with you will visit your ownership equipment and check whether you have filled the check sheet properly. You will also check whether the equipment is kept clean, neat and tidy. Whether the equipment is safe to operate. You will also check the lubrication points and check whether the nuts and bolts are secure. Now coming to columns in the first left hand side column, letter C. Letter C stands for cleaning. You need to write down the important parts of areas in the equipment to be cleaned safely in the second column. That is here. Okay. And next letter I stands for inspection. Here too you need down the important points you need to inspect to maintain the ideal condition of the machine. Yeah. Next point is letter L, which means lubrication. You must write down the lubrication points to be checked. Yeah. And lastly, letter T stands for tightening. Mention the location where nuts and bolts are to be checked for proper tightening. That's here. Okay. In the third column, you need to specify the schedule. This is the schedule, cleaning frequency. You need to specify the cleaning schedule for cleaning, inspection, lubricant and tightening. Write down D if it is done daily. D daily. W for weekly, FN for fortnight, M for monthly and S for during shut. Your area manager will help you in fixing the schedule. The remaining columns are dates of the 1 month. These are the dates of the month. If you have carried out the CILT activities and there are no abnormalities noticed, then just mark a tick against the day column individually for all the CILT activities. If you have noticed abnormalities either in cleaning, inspection, lubrication, tightening, then mark with X in the particular day column and corresponding CILT rows. Attend to small abnormalities immediately which you can resolve by yourself. The abnormality which cannot be addressed by you and you need external help from maintenance personnel, then such abnormalities are to be written in the abnormality register kept in the department for follow-up and for rectification. Top priority should be given first to address all the safety jobs. If some abnormalities are not rectified by the maintenance people for a long period, then such abnormalities should be highlighted in the production meeting or HOD meeting, wherein responsibility with the target dates will be fixed by higher authorities. This is the procedure to be followed for addressing all the abnormalities. Thus, we will be ensuring your equipment is operating in ideal condition and there will be no breakdowns or quality problem. This is Japanese methodology for addressing all abnormalities. This is another important slide. It highlights the importance of key process parameters for producing quality products. The operator should know all the important key process parameters to be checked and maintained in his ownership area for controlling his process and quality of his output. Hence, the area manager must spell out the important key process parameters to be checked at what intervals for maintaining quality and production. List of process parameters to be displayed also near the equipment. If there is a serious problem which he cannot adjust and rectify himself, he should immediately inform his superiors and seek their help. The operator should also be taught about the impact of not maintaining the process parameters in his ownership equipment. How his next customer or next process will be affected. What will be the impact on the quality of the end product and the resulting loss to the company. This picture depicts a scenario where CILT check sheet is not followed correctly. The operator says that he has forgotten to lubricate his machine, and as a result smoke is coming out of his machine, indicating the absence of lubrication schedule or it is not followed strictly. This is another scenario where employees are happy because they are doing TPM and following CILT activities sincerely, thus ensuring they achieve the 6 zeros, that is 0 accident, 0 breakdown, 0 customer complaint, 0 defects, 0 pollution and 0 waste. Once you complete implementing the TPM step 0 to step 3, you will see a tremendous improvement. Employees will see a sea change in the work culture and workplace. They will also take pride in keeping the machine neat, tidy, safe and in ideal condition, which will help them in avoiding breakdowns, quality defects or production loss. They will also give more kaizens for improving the process, etc. These ultimate benefits of implementing TPM in your company. We have come to the conclusion of this video. My next video will be TPM part 6, which will be the last and final video on TPM. We'll discuss how to kickstart TPM with a roadmap in your company and also what are the benefits of TPM in the next video. Thank you all for your patience hearing. If you like to review my previous videos on 5 years concepts, TPM part 1 to part 3, please search Learning with Sivaram in YouTube and click the icon plant in folded hands so that my videos can be viewed in sequence. If you like these videos, please press the like image and click the subscribe and bell icon and share among your friends and others who will be benefited. I will be further uploading free videos on other management system tools, example, how to become a green company, what is ISO, root cause analysis, Kaizen, risk management, etc. for knowledge sharing. Once again, thank you all. Have a nice day.